Now, I'm never going to have a conversation about car prices going up, crime happening over here in our neighborhoods in California and Chicago. What did I say? Car prices is going up. Eviction notices, home prices. Y'all paying $5,500 a month for it. We got these women out here getting hit in the head with bricks. All of this type of stuff, right? But I'm gonna give you a solution. Actually, I'm not gonna give you a solution, but I want to have a discussion because there are alternative solutions. But now even those places are being priced out. How y'all feel about moving to Wyoming? How y'all feel about moving to Wyoming? Don't worry about it. We're going to get to it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Let's rock out.
Here's a
It's
lovely...
the last thing we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to get y'all off of y'all day. We got over 2,000 people in here. I need y'all to hit a like for the algorithm.
Line about averages. Take a man and put one of his feet in a bucket of ice and the other in a bucket of boiling water, and on average, he's comfortable. On average, Jackson Hole, Wyoming...
Wait a minute. I need those graphic images. I need that transition that just happened. Let me back up for a minute. Look at the transition that he had on there.
He's comfortable. On average, Jackson Hole, Wyoming is a really comfortable place to live, but...
Who the editor? Who the transition team out here? Somebody get them out here and tell them Anton want to hire them. That transition image was slapping. Shout out to you.
As Ben Tracy found, it does help if you have a lot of money.
Did y'all imagine living out there? Who's up for living in Wyoming? A lot of y'all say, Ye is out there. Ye ain't even living in Miami. In Wyoming. Ye is over there in France getting head on a boat publicly. Ye is a crazy dude, man. Ye is out here living this crazy life. I don't know what Ye doing and what he doing. I heard he was over there getting that Gog 3000 publicly with his behind side out. Give me my 30 million. I ain't cussing out one time in this whole live stream. I don't want to live out there. I mean, that's just me personally. I'm not built for this. I'm not built. Aaron, we talked about bottle wars last night on the Q show. That was one of the first things that we talked about is the bottle wars.
Jackson, Wyoming is often called the last of the Old West. Its cowboy culture runs so deep, it even rides along on the morning cup of coffee. And while some of the best things in life here may be free, you pay a steep price to live in this valley known as Jackson Hole.
I love this community and I love the place where I live, but...
See, they got purple hair over there in Jackson too, so y'all stop acting like the modern women is just over there in the major cities. They got purple hair everywhere, and she matching her hair with her outfit.
There is always that question in the back of your mind of, are you going to be able to survive here?
Elizabeth Hutchings moved here from Massachusetts in 2018.
So she moved there from New York. She said, we tired of the rats. In 2018, before the pandemic, she said, you know what? I want a slower life. I want to be out here with the bison. I want to eat bison meat. I want to get some Venice. I want to hit some deer. You know what I'm saying? I want to get some cows, grass-fed. The last of the Mohicans is out here. I want to chill. I came here. I brought my purple hair here, but I brought my spirit. My spirit is different. She said, I'm moving out to Wyoming, all right?
For the first 7 months, the only place she could afford to live was in her van. Between living in your van, your car, and various apartments, how many places have you lived here in 4 years?
Let's see, van. 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
And in a lot of places, there's been that question of, oh, this is home, but for how long?
Teton County is now home to a divide bigger than those mountains for which it's named. It is the wealthiest and most unequal in America. The average...
Did you know that in this specific place in Jackson, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly, shout out to JC, that it is the wealthiest and most divided in America? I did not. This is my first time hearing it. See, y'all not going to just be running out to Jackson or out there in Wyoming and Jackson and all of that other type of stuff and running up the prices. They priced you out. They don't see you. They can't hear you because all of the millionaires and billionaires is already taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Income here is $318,000.
Did he say the average income is $318,000? Hold on, let me back up for a minute.
Teton County is now home to a divide bigger than those mountains for which it's named. It is the wealthiest and most unequal in America. The average income here is $318,000, and
The average income is $318,000. That's a stunt for you right there. That's stunting at the highest level. That's stunting at the highest level. They said, listen, you want to come here? Huh? You thought that Miami was a spot? Nah. You thought that they was going to be over here in LA and Calabasas making moves? Nope. You thought that you was going to be hanging out over there in Massachusetts? You thought that you was going to be over there in New York and that you was going to be getting to the bag? They said, listen, fam, the average income over here is $318,000. See, and this is why we need to have a Millionaire Morning Show. Because one of the benefits of being on the Millionaire Morning Show is I get to expose y'all to things that y'all normally wouldn't see in your algorithm or that you're not familiar with. Things that is not being discussed within our culture and our community. And so when you talking about the average income is $318,000, come on, man. Come on, man.
the average single-family home price is now more than $5.5 million.
The average single family home price is $5.5 million. Now I see why she been living in her car. Now I see I see why she the barista. I see why she didn't fell into 9 different places, because you can't afford to be here, Jack.
That's left a food pantry overwhelmed by demand, staring at $6 million townhomes rising across the street.
Wow, they priced you out. 6 million townhome. And you got to pay the property taxes on that joint. $6 million townhomes, and you got to pay the property taxes on that joint. We not letting you come in here. We priced you out, big dog.
The level of wealth you see and the level of disparity that you see, I mean, some people have more money you could spend in 10 lifetimes.
There's a saying in town that you either have 3 homes or 3 jobs. Many workers have been forced to cheaper towns nearly 40 miles away.
Get on out of here.
Sometimes treacherous roads. Hutchings works at a local restaurant, and when we met last summer, she shared this basement apartment with a roommate. Since then, she's had to move again.
If you're spending so much of your time driving or so much of your time working just trying to survive, I think everybody has that question of, is it worth it?
I know how we can fix that. Hold on. Let me make sure her hair is pinned up. You know how we can fix this, right? You ain't never got to worry about making sure that you ain't got nowhere to lay your chinny chin or your heady head anywhere. Listen, you have assets, baby girl, that no man will ever be able to have, no matter how many different transitions that he tries to go through. You know we can fix that, right? Yep. We can fix that. No, you wanted to be modern. You wanted to work hard. You said that you was going to level up, and now it's getting tough out here. You moved from Massachusetts. You wanted to hang out in Boston. You said that it's too expensive over here. Centennial is wild, said the Bunny Ranch. You wanted to live in Boston. You thought that you was going to get away with that and live in a quiet community over here in Wyoming. She in a bind, Nate. Hey, Nate, she in the bind, Nate. It's tough out here in these streets, Nate. I'm in a bind, Nate. Nate about to fix that. Old school. Dig in the scene where the players lean. Shout out to you, baby girl.
To move again.
If you're spending so much of your time driving or so much of your time working just trying to survive, I think everybody has that question of,
rough life.
is it worth it?
This area here is actually one of the holdovers in town that I imagine in 5 years even will look very different.
Yale School of the Environment professor Justin Farrell grew up in Wyoming and is author of the book Billionaire Wilderness. He says the middle class here has been completely hollowed out.
Inequality is an issue playing out across the country. Is it uniquely bad here?
It is uniquely bad, actually. It's nation-leading bad. If you're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, you're likely living in your car, or you're living 45 minutes away. For most people, it's becoming unlivable.
The reason
if you make $60,000, you can't come here. You got to go ahead and move somewhere else. I don't care if you're a remote worker. I don't care if you actually got an extra job. You can't hang out here if you're making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. They golfing over there, right? They hanging out in their tractors. They pricing you out. They starting to move over into the middle of the country because they realize that y'all over there in Wyoming, they going to have a different life than the people over in New York, Miami, and LA, and over in Arizona.
Says is that the ultra-wealthy find Teton County very livable. Their arrival here accelerated during COVID.
$26 million for a crib. Listen, that's out of my tax bracket. That's way, way outside of my, well, we in the same tax bracket, but it's that's out of my buying range. That's out of my property tax bracket. Let's put it like that. We've been saying the wrong thing. We keep talking about our tax bracket. We need to be talking about our property tax bracket. That is way outside of my property tax bracket. I can't swing it. I can't swing it, fam. I don't know what to do. I don't have no solutions for you. All I know is 26 M's for a property in Wyoming is way outside of my property tax bracket, fam.
The desire for multi-million-dollar mountain escapes has created a new land rush.
Americans have always looked west. It's always been the lodestar of American identity. And probably Jackson Hole with the cowboy image and the Tetons. It's, I think, what makes it so special for so many people.
It looks nice.
On top of that, it's functionally a tax haven.
I actually have not. Oh, wait a minute. Tax haven. Let me rewind that.
So Wyoming does not have a state income tax. It doesn't have a corporate tax. So it's a really great place to park your.
Wait. It don't have a state income tax and it don't have a corporate tax? Well, no wonder all of the people that got bags is moving there. No wonder all of the big-time billionaires is making that their main residence. And if you worth over $100 million, you don't mind spending a bag there. No wonder. Now we starting to get down to the brass tacks. See, when we review these videos, we always understand that it comes back down to the money. If we watch the video long enough, we get to the real meat and potatoes as to why they are all moving there. They have no corporate tax and no income tax. Now we getting down to the brass tacks of things. Now we starting to make sense as to why it is that this is why they moving all of their money there. It's a tax shelter because you don't understand that every state makes up its own rules as to how it is that it governs its citizens, especially from a financial perspective. I'm going to visit Wyoming. Yes, I am. Next year, I promise. I had already said that I was going. Before Kanye had sold his place, I said I'm about to go over to Wyoming and see if I can get Kanye to come holler at me and do an interview. I'm going to go and be like, hey, what up, though? Okay, I got you.
Money legally.
All that wealth is cleverly disguised behind a facade of pickup trucks and jeans. It's almost as if the landmark watering hole, the $1 million cowboy bar, knew what was coming.
This place is really unique because it allows people to engage in this personal transformation to become a normal person. They rely on the Western stereotypes to do that. And so you have these millionaires and even billionaires dressing in Wrangler jeans, dressing down, trying to avoid any sort of class indicators that might make them look wealthy. And I think it's really well-intentioned.
Phil Hartle is a private wealth advisor who moved here from high-tax California.
Even the wealth advisors decided to go over there and go to Wyoming.
Good girl.
He and his wife Monica relocated to Jackson in late 2020.
It was really about living in a different kind of place and really being closer to nature. And so it's tremendous to be a part of that.
I get a sense that you really do have a respect for the place, and I
Very
don't
much
want
so.
this to sound rude, but I assume you're aware that some people here think you're part of the problem.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
How does
Absolutely.
that feel?
It's my responsibility to show them that, I understand that we came here more recently. We're COVID babies, right? But at the same time, if you approach it with a regard and a respect and a listening, and at the end of the day, like anywhere, they judge you as an individual, what kind of person you are.
Hartle says he's planning to donate a third of his tax savings to local nonprofits and charities. Teton County is one of the most philanthropic communities in America.
Am I part of the problem? Sure I am. I'm one of the people that came in and was able to buy a house at a marked up price. And I'm very grateful for that. But again, I also see that I have an obligation as a result.
And meanwhile, Purple Hair over here is in struggle mode.
For Elizabeth Hutchings, she says she just wants to make sure people like her, the horsepower that keeps this cowboy town running, can also call it home.
If we don't find a way to create a more equitable society and to support people with housing and human services, you won't have an economy. You won't have dozens of nice restaurants to eat at.
Do you look
Yeah, you will. We always will. The same way that Dubai has it is the same way that Wyoming is going to have it. The same way that all of these other places that have a disproportionate amount of wealth, and then they bust you in, or they have you migrate in order to do your job, and then you can migrate back out in order to make sure that you go ahead and live wherever it is that you live. Or you could just struggle for the rest of your life because you in a bind, Nate. It's the same way that Wyoming and every other place is going to operate, because it is a class war and not necessarily a race war. And the minute that you realize it is when it's going to be too late, and that's why I'm inviting you guys to come over to the Bag Chasers. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, you ain't got to worry about it.